Sounds all right, doesn't it?
I think so.
Sounds reasonable. I guess that's just the motor for just us, isn't it, really? Does it sound reasonable?
So.
Yeah, probably.
It is happening.
It is happening and it's here.
In the Big Brother house.
Oh, is it week 8 already?
I don't know.
Or is it 9?
I don't know. I don't keep track.
Week 8 or 9?
I just thought you'd go with it. To be fair, when these are put up online, they do actually put what number it is, so we wouldn't have got away with it anyway. I was about to say, let's just pretend, but it's going to have a number next to it, so we can't.
Yeah, literally everyone will be able to see it straight off the bat. We're only 30 seconds in. We can't escape it. So if it's week 8 or week 9, hello everyone. Welcome to
all the other contestants have been evicted, and it's just me and Jamie left picking over the wreckage. The pandemic hit and they locked the doors of the Big Brother house. They're just me and Jamie inside. If you're hearing this, please send help.
We haven't done any sort of challenges or evictions since. It's just been us, and we've presumed that something's going to happen, but
we don't know. They're still piping in the crowd noise, but we haven't heard anything else.
We're asking for Davina. Where's Davina?
For God's sake.
Please, not again. Oh, but hello everyone. Yes, it's another week of Down with Boring. It's me, Jamie, and Jake here again for another rundown of the week in music, and yeah, maybe a bit of music as well. How are we doing, Jake? How's the week been? Doing all right?
Yeah, pretty good. Just had a fish finger sandwich, and I'm ready to face the world now.
Oof. Hello. Yeah. You can tell that the lockdown has been lifted. Jesus, here he is. Fish finger sandwiches and all.
Fish finger sandwich now.
That was announced.
One of the fish fingers was gluten free, and the rest weren't.
One. Was that a necessity? That was, I've got multiple boxes here, and I need to make some sort of sandwich.
That was the So I couldn't really tell the difference, to be honest. No, but then they were in a sandwich, so I couldn't tell when I was eating the gluten free one. And it was in a sandwich, which is famously gluten heavy. So
just coated in gluten.
Yeah, the gluten probably seeped in.
I'm gonna have this dairy-free stick, but it's covered in chocolate. So we'll just see from there.
Exactly.
Well, that's good though. It's a nice
I
little.
Tell you, actually, I was surprised because I was making the fish finger sandwich. And obviously, you're looking in the freezer for the different packs of fish fingers, and I actually found a little envelope at the back, which had Dork mailbag. Yeah, Dork mailbag written on it.
Oh, that's where it's going. Oh, I was wondering where it's been going. So it's at the back of the freezer, you say? It
was, yeah, but I've dusted it off. I'm not sure how old these questions are. They could have been in cold storage for a while.
Sorry about that.
The first one I've got here is from Jeff in Fife.
Jeff?
And Jeff said, "Dear Dork, brackets, Jake and Jamie, close brackets."
Thank you. See, this is the thing. Every week, people send, don't get me wrong, we do love, the mailbag, but, people just say, "Hey, Dork." It is us. We are here. We are here every week.
We say our names every time. But yeah, Jeff he said, "Dear Dork, Jake and Jamie, what's your favourite fictional cat?"
Oh, flipping hell! Where did that conversation come from?
Well, I guess these things just happen, don't they?
Yeah. I think my favourite fictional cat, has to be. Do you remember the film Stuart Little?
Yep, I do. Yeah.
Do you remember Snowbell? The sassy cat.
That's the cat. That's the cat in Stuart Little. Yeah.
The sassy cat. I'm a big fan of Snowbell. I think her attitude and her way of life is something that a lot of us could pick up on. We couldn't grow the same hair. Don't get me wrong. I mean, imagine me looking like that. It'd be atrocious. Yeah, I'd have paws as well. I don't know how useful they are, but
well, you could always clean your paws anyway, Jamie. Get a cleansing regime going. Get rid of any blackheads.
Sanitizer, everything. Come on. Snowbell.
No, don't sanitize your face. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, Snowbell. Yep.
Snowbell, I rate and respect, and I think is a mastermind of the arts, but also is big enough to accept when she's wrong. So I think we could all do very well for that. But also, we should, she should have left before Stuart Little 3. I mean, no one saw that. So a full on her.
So you said to me, you said, Jake, you know Stuart Little? And I said, yep, hazy memory of that. You said, do you remember Snowbell? And I was like, yeah, that's the cat in Stuart Little. And you then proceeded to have intimate knowledge of the cat throughout 3 Stuart Little films, 2 of which I didn't know existed. So I'm quite worried. Have you been watching? Have you rewatched Stuart Little recently?
I haven't. To be fair, it's obviously just left an impression, really.
I remember his tiny car. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, the tiny car was good. I mean, also, why would you let it's a mouse, isn't it? I mean, like in the nicest way, you've got to. If you're a kid and you're looking after a mouse, and the mouse is roaming around Central Park, you've fucked up there. And I'm not pointing fingers.
You've lost the mouse, then, haven't you?
Yeah, you fool.
And how do you know it's the same mouse that comes back? There's mice everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he talks, so I guess maybe that's it.
Yeah, but again, you'd be a lot more concerned about that than he is.
Yeah. I mean, I just wouldn't. I'm going to be honest. The film itself, I don't trust it. I think it's lies. A cat getting, a cat v mouse, and the cat's all right in the end. Like, that's just, come on, play the game. I want reality in my films, and you don't have that in Stuart Little. So anyway, Stuart Little, try again. Is my long and short of it. What about you, Jake? Do you have a favourite fictional cat?
Well, I haven't given long to think about this, but in Top Cat, not Top Cat himself, but kind of the right-hand man of Top Cat, Benny,
hey, Top
right?
Cat. Yeah, the one who's got the...
You know Benny? Yeah, well, my favourite fictional cat is Bagpuss. I just wanted to remind you of Benny so that you had a sort of gauge to go against, but Bagpuss is the best fictional cat.
Isn't Bagpuss like on the moon or something? Is that right?
No, that's the Clangers.
That's the completely
no, because they are quite similar. They're like similar styles. Bagpuss is like a toy, and then there's other ones in the house. But Bagpuss could never get remade because the opening of Bagpuss refers to him as a saggy, baggy old puss, and I don't think we can get away with that in 2020.
No. You can't be saying, "Oh, Jesus Christ!"
So let's move on quickly from Bagpuss.
You can't open that.
You can't open the saggy, baggy old puss. You're right.
No, you can't. You can't do that. Depends. Anyway,
can I cut you off there, Jamie? Do you want to have a feel around in the frosty envelope and see what else is in there for us?
I've got one. Yeah, it's quite cold actually. Yes, Katie from Tottenham has asked, "Hey Dork, again, no Jake and Jamie, Katie. Come on, play the game. Seen the outdoor gigs are coming back. Reckon they'll be any good?"
Nah.
What do you reckon? Yeah, I mean, what do you reckon? I mean, this ties with the news that in the UK anyway, outdoor shows can happen.
Jamie, this is the mailbag. This isn't the news section. Can you please keep any news for the news section?
I'm just bringing some context to the world.
No context is allowed in the mailbag. I think, Casey, no, they'll be shit, but they'll be better than we've had for 4 months. Yeah. That's the thing. I think you'll go and you will think it's not very good, but you know that anyway. But then you go along and you think it's better than nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like if you've been dining on steak all your life and then suddenly the steak is gone and you were without it for 4 months and you're offered offal. And,
that's it.
Yes, the offal in comparison may be deemed as bad, but it's gold at the moment. So we will take gold. Give us offal. Please, please, please. I've told you about the time that I got a bag of offal, didn't I, Jake?
Probably. Can't say I recall, but...
Yeah. I mean, I basically, I went to the shops and I kind of thought, I'll find something to eat. See what's about. And I went past the butcher's, and I was feeling rather like, I feel quite good today. I feel quite, with myself. I might, pop into the butcher's and see what I can get. And I went in, and I thought, man, what have I never tried before? And I looked in the corner, and it was just
this is going badly already.
Yeah, there was just like white plastic bags in the corner, just where like next to all the meat is, and it was like,
That's
oh,
where they
it's
keep the offal. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was like, oh, offal, and I was like, do you know what? I've never tried offal before. I might give it a go. So I went and
I
said,
think initially I've got a lot of concern here that you seem to think offal is one particular thing that you can try as well.
yeah,
Like,
I
it
mean,
all needs cooking in different ways. You can't just chuck that in a saucepan.
Well, see, that was my thinking, and I just thought, well, let's just go with it and let's see what happens. And I said, oh, can I have like, I don't know, 100 grams of offal? I don't know, I don't know what it was. And he was like, oh no, we don't do it in grams.
No,
we do it in bags. We do it in bags. So would you like one bag, please? And I said, anyone want a bag? I'll have a bag. Picked up the bag, took it home, put it in my fridge. Didn't eat it that night. I thought I'll leave it a few days.
A few days, yeah, of course.
Turns out, if you're going to eat offal, you should probably eat it that day. So it had gone off.
Yeah, because the problem with it is it's organs. Jamie.
It's just
you got a bag of organs.
All I'm saying is it had to go in the bin. Even I couldn't be pushed to that point. I thought that might actually kill me.
For a bit of clarity here, this is a man who has eaten egg noodles and hot dogs with gravy during lockdown. Like I haven't. I've asked Jamie about 30 times in the few months of lockdown what he's had for dinner, and not once have I thought that sounds nice.
An acquired taste, you know.
The idea of this man cooking. How are you going to cook offal? What were you going to do with it?
My idea was I was going to get like like a pasta bake. Just get some pasta, boil it up, get a pan on, throw the offal on, sizzle it around, bit of chili flakes, maybe a bit of peri peri sauce, whack it on top. Easy, tasty.
That's horrific.
But we'll never know.
That is literally a war crime. That is categorised by the UN as a war crime. You telling me that? You just forcing that on me with no justification. Are you saying
if worse came to worse, you would not eat that?
Well, I mean, what do you mean worse comes to worse? Like, what does that entail?
I don't know. There's nothing in the fridge.
That's not worse comes to worse, is it? If there was a nuclear holocaust, yes, give me the offal. If I had to pop to Sainsbury's otherwise, then no, I'm not eating your offal pasta bake.
Give it 10 years and people will be asking for my recipes. It's all I'm saying.
You're a liar.
I was actually more prepared. I was more prepared.
Letter. I'm moving on. I refuse to talk about offal anymore. I've got a letter here.
If anyone wants a recipe, come and find me.
I've got a letter here from Mr. Smith. Who hasn't actually they haven't given their location or their first name.
Mystery.
Very mysterious. Yeah. No, not Mr. E, Mr. Smith. Yeah, I'm here all week. Dave said, if you could be in any band, what band would you be in?
Oh, that's tricky. I think any band in the world. Is this living or dead, or
Mr. Smith hasn't elaborated, so I can only assume it is any band, living or dead.
Any band ever. Band-Aid, I'd be in.
Yeah, which one?
Because
the one with or without Dizzy Rascal.
I think it's got to be with Dizzy Rascal, because that's just a bit of fun, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like someone went, Dizzy, we'd love for you to be in this, and he went, sorry, what? And it was like, yeah, could you do like a rap?
Could you do that thing you did with the Arctic Monkeys track that one time, where they had an Arctic Monkeys track, and then you just sort of came in and did a verse, just that? But
did he come out? He came out at Glastonbury as well.
Oh yeah, that's a banger. To be fair, it is a banger.
Can I just run through? Sorry, I mean, just on Band-Aid. Obviously, I want to be a part of Band-Aid 20, but that means I would be alongside such heavyweights.
Oh God,
such absolute heavyweights as obviously your big hitters. Bono's there, can't get him away from it. Chris Martin, Coldplay. Dizzy Rascal, of course, we've mentioned him. What about the frontman of Ash?
Oh,
In
yeah,
the
well, he's
year
huge, yeah.
2004, the frontman of Ash. Let me talk to you about the band Turin Breaks, who
Wow.
appeared on Band Aid 20. Good stuff. And also Rachel Stevens. Actually, the more I read of this, the more I do want to be a part of it.
You want to be a part of that, don't you? Come on.
Yeah, 100%. If I want to be in a super group with Miss Dynamite and Lamar. That's all I'm saying.
Miss Dynamite Teehee. I used to semi-regularly tweet Lamar asking him to reply, and he never did.
What were you asking of him?
I used to tweet him. I used to say, at Lamar, if there was any justice in the world, you'd reply to this tweet. And he never replied.
How many times did you do it? How many times?
6 or 7, maybe a few more. Basically, every time I got pissed, I'd be like, I dropped Lamar a tweet. And I like to think that every time he's like, oh, this guy again. Oh, no.
Oh. He's like, for fuck's sake, it's not him again.
That's the glory of Twitter, I get to basically, in the old days, if I wanted to annoy Lamar, I'd have to find out where he lives and then basically break the law. Like, harass him.
Whereas now,
but as it is, I just get to tweet him just daily. I could tweet him right now. I might do, actually. I'll drop him a tweet.
Tweet him right now. Yeah.
I will.
See what happens. Because if we get a reply before this ends.
My answer to the band question is the Venga Boys, so I could ride the Venga bus.
I mean, there's no question of that. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. I want you in my room.
70,000 followers Lamar's got. I remember when I used to do this, he was only on about 20,000, I think.
Oh, here we go. He's ahead of the curve. Don't know if you've met this guy. He was also a shout out to Lamar for having the @Lamar Twitter handle. Like, fair play to you. He's gone ahead.
Yeah, he's really done well there. I put a kiss on the end, so I put @Lamar. If there was any justice in the world, you'd reply to this tweet. Kiss.
Lovely. Well, let us know if he replies back.
His last tweet was 5 days ago. It might not happen.
See how he feels. Maybe this will be the thing.
We should probably move on to news so we can play a song, because we haven't actually. We've just spoken for a long time.
Yeah, I'm sorry you've had to just listen to us. I'll be honest with you. News. Let's start with the return of the streets. Obviously, today, as we record, is the day where Mike Skinner has returned to the fray, doing bits, with a new mixtape, not an album.
I didn't realise Mike Skinner was ever in the fray.
Here we go.
Was he on How to Save a Life? Yeah.
He was, actually, yeah. He was in the background with Leo the Lion off of the Streets fame, which is giving it socks. Yes, they're back with a new mixtape. None of us are getting out of this alive. It's like the first full-length stuff that has come from the streets in like 9 years, which is pretty mental.
It's the first full length, isn't it? Because I was thinking this.
Yeah, full length.
It was 2 or 3 years ago. He released a couple of tracks. One of which had. Basically, he released a couple of tracks 2 or 3 years ago. I have not prepared for this at all. And one of them was an absolute banger. And I was like, there's going to be new stuff. There's new stuff coming out. And then nothing appeared.
Are we talking about Open the Till, which is arguably one of the greatest songs of the past 10 years?
Oh, we could be. I'm looking now. Please bear with me. Play some elevator music.
It's the one where like all's going off and then it just pauses and then Mike Skinner comes in and just goes, "Open the till." Is that the one?
It's not, but weirdly that has actually reminded me of that song, which I haven't thought of in years. No, I was thinking of 2018 when he put out "Call Me in the Morning," which had Grim Sickers and Chip on it.
That's good. Yeah.
And that was an absolute banger. But there was nothing on Open the Till.
Nothing on Open the Till.
That came out. I thought there was going to be new music. There wasn't any more new music.
Yeah.
And he played live a lot, and obviously everyone was like, right, he's playing live, he's released these couple of tracks, there's going to be something coming out. There wasn't, and then this got announced, and this mixtape it's a banger. I'm really, really happy
Yeah.
this is good. You know what I mean? I was really worried this is going to be dog shit. As you always do with anyone who comes back, you're like, oh, please don't be awful.
Please
like,
don't, please. You were so great. Please don't ruin it. It goes. It goes.
It does.
I famously went to a street show, I think about last year, and it was, it was incredible, mad. And I remember they were serving like 2 pint cups at Brixton Academy, and I literally launched one in the air to open the till, famously enough. I mean, it's just my favourite song.
Stop saying famously as if this is a famous thing that's happened. Like, you're just a bloke who went to see the street.
One of many. One of a nation.
Right.
But yes,
new mixtape. Before we go any further, new mixtape. Let's play a track off it. I think we both agreed on this one with an absolutely
100%.
disgusting bass line on it, which I think is the last one on there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the last track.
Which is just a real throwback track, and I just think it really reminds me of, like, you go to a house party, and you know when you walk into the room in the house party where the light doesn't work properly, or it's like a dim light, and there's 3 people you've never met there before, and one of them's got a beanie hat on for some reason. And they've all drinking, but they also all seem like they've been doing a lot more than that. This is the track that would be on, I think, and they'd all be acting like it was just the most normal song for it to be on, and it's just good shit. I'm a big fan.
It's good shit. Yes, let's listen in. So this is the last track off the mixtape. This is "Take Me As I Am."
Watch me as I go. It's a blessing in disguise, but it's really well disguised. Regret this in the morning, shots of the ride, but that's future me. I'm glad I'm not that guy. Take me as I am, or watch me as I go. She said, take me as I am, or watch me.
God, oh Jesus, it goes, doesn't it?
I'm glad we're throwing back to that now. I'm glad that is now the new nostalgia.
Yeah,
I just love I love the idea of, like, in 10, 15 years' time, there's going to be some dad in, like, a second-hand Audi, you know, something respectable, a few years old, dropping his kid off at school, business. And he's got his album on. That kind of track, not that track, because obviously that's new, but, you know, the tracks that had that kind of bass line on it are going to come on, and his kid's going to be there like, oh, Dad, this old stuff is so embarrassing.
Get it off, man. God, get it off.
This old man music.
And it rips.
The Bob Dylan of 2040.
It's so good. It's so good. I've just realised that this show is going to be quite high energy. Obviously, you would have gathered that from our conversations from about Stuart Little and Offal.
Yeah, that's what keeps it off.
It's the high energy mode here. But yes, what tune? Streets are back. That mixtape's out now. Wonderful.
I'd say this mixtape is it's the streets ahead of the opposition.
This is, we're not even through the beginning really of this show yet.
We're not.
Heavens above.
Right, Jamie, the music industry has mounted a stunning comeback. The war was over, but it turns out the music industry had one final punch left in it. What's it doing?
And
What's the music industry
doing? It came out
doing?
Swinging. Like, we've talked for weeks, haven't we, about basically there's no gigs, that's sad. There's no money, that's sad. What are we going to do? Well, it's coming back. We talked about the Let the Music Play campaign last week about getting funding again for live venues and festivals, everything like that. And good news is, looks like that's happening. Wonderful days, happy days. But in the meantime, music industry's not fucking about. There's loads of shit going on. Let me talk to you about 360-degree virtual reality gigs. How do you feel about virtual reality gigs, Jake?
Oh, this is an interesting one because I play quite a lot of computer games because I'm a nerd. And VR's never really done it for me because of the faff of kind of setting it up. To me, I'm playing games so I can sit on the sofa and relax. But obviously with VR, you need a clear space and you need, like, to be standing and you need all the gear and that. So I think it's kind of a novelty more than anything. But I think Wireless actually did it quite well last weekend or whenever it was.
Weekend.
They had
last
these
weekend.
360 ones, which is kind of the gimmick to get people through the door. But you could also watch it in non-360. Because to me, I think the thing with a 360 gig is like, well, when I do see a gig, it's not 360. I go to a gig and I'm just watching the stage. So it's basically like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a big live TV, like a theatre production or something. So 360, I think, is an odd one. But I also think if that's what it takes for Brixton to get the sponsorship money and the kind of gimmick to get it going, I think that's a good thing to have. And I think it also might normalise paying for the shows a bit more. Because at the moment, I think everyone is a bit like, you know, it just seemed weird for something that you normally get for free, like which is the live streams of festivals and that, for them to then be like, £10. It's like, but I'm just sitting at home.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go for people to like accept that, isn't it? It's just like people trying to work it out. I mean, the stuff that they're doing with the Brixton Academy is mad because you basically buy a ticket, you get to pick where in the like venue you stand. So judging from the usual shows that I end up to at Brixton, I'm probably going to be stood behind the tallest guy in the room. And can't see anything. So that'd be nice. A nice little 360 view.
I'm 6'1", and I somehow end up behind a man who's about 8 foot tall every single time. So you know the floor slopes, so you'll always get a good view. You're quite tall, so you'll be fine. And then I'm standing behind literally like the fucking local basketball team or something. It is, honestly.
But yes, that's happening, which is amazing, and like the VR stuff, and feels like people are really getting involved in it now. Is it as good as a normal show? Yeah, but we'll give it a go. It's trying times, but they're also coming back in other ways, Jake, and that's in more physical forms. And it's not until next year, but festivals announcing lineups. They're ringing round the fences again. Ring a ding ding. Round 2.
Ring a ding ding.
Festivals are here, like mad cool. That announced basically their huge like lineup basically for next year already. Big names playing, so it kind of gives you an idea of who's knocking about for next year. Now.
Feels like they've, because obviously for a while it was just Primavera, wasn't it?
And so Prima's obviously announced their stuff. Nozzle Live has announced their stuff, and like Mad Cool was a part of that as well. Big names playing. Red Hot Chili Peppers,
California.
Slap of the bass.
Yeah. Well, there we go. That was a Red Hot Chili Peppers performance. You slapping the bass and me saying California. Cheers. I saw them at the O2 in 2010, I believe.
Oh, hello. Not bad. Did they do the big intro? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it was just after John Frusciante had left the band.
Oof.
And now
famously,
he's back.
He's back.
Yeah. So the worst period to see the Chili Peppers, I guess.
And now maybe you can look ahead to next year. That's something to look forward to. John Frusciante doing his whammy jammy stuff.
Is that all we've got? The whammy jammies?
No. We've also got more music industry fight back. We've talked about VR, talked about actual festivals. What about something in between? A socially distanced outdoor arena. Yeah. What? You ask? Come gather close. Let me tell you some more. It's all going on in Newcastle. It is the, we'll get to the good stuff, but the Virgin Money Unity Arena.
There it is.
Bank cards, eh?
Catchy.
Bank cards. It rolls off the tongue.
It makes me want a Virgin Money Unity card, Oh, I didn't want one before, but now I want one.
And you want to know who Richard Branson has reached into his, wealthy pockets and pulled out? Why, it's only Craig Charles opening on Friday the 14th of August. And the man himself.
Is he hosting Robot Wars, or is he doing his DJ set?
Oh, I believe it's DJ set. I mean, if it was Robot Wars, I'd be there already in the queue.
Well, he could do both. He could do a DJ set where he does all of the records on 2 hypno discs from Robot Wars.
On Sir Kill-A-Lot.
Yeah.
Just spin it on his head.
Exactly.
But yeah, so this is the first socially distanced outdoor arena. So it's not like a drive-in show. It's you can turn up and basically within your group you can stand, obviously, socially distanced away from each other, and you can see a load of bands play. And that includes, people like, Supergrass, Tom Grennan, The Libertines, Maximo Park, and a couple of others that we'll obviously talk about in a sec. But yeah, what do you think, Jake?
I think it must be quite nice.
It's
once you've set up this kind of socially distanced event and they're like, okay, so who should we book? It must be quite nice to just be like, well, I mean, everyone's available. You know what I mean? It's like, should we get the Libertines?
Like,
do you think they're up to much?
Yeah.
No, I think legally they can't be up to anything. So
yeah,
so
like literally,
it's a lot harder to. It's a lot harder to sort the venue and everything, but then it's a lot easier once you've done that to book the lineup. That's the trade-off, isn't it?
I
don't think any of this is. I don't think any of this is going to be as good as a gig, but I also think it's nice to see something happening and the industry trying to find ways to kind of keep itself, trying to keep it going until there is a chance to go back to normal. Because you can't put everything on ice. You can't put a whole industry on ice for months and months and months, can you? I'm all for these. I don't think they'll be as good as a gig, but I also think they'll be better than watching a Glastonbury rerun. So
weigh it up. Do you want to watch that Radiohead set again? Some people will say yes.
That's just you, Jamie. I've got some news, some completely different news. Swerving. We got more. We got more.
Whoa, Jake. Whoa. Let's play some music. Let's not talk anymore.
I forgot we did that.
One of the acts playing as a part of the socially distanced show at the Virgin Money Unity Metro Bank NatWest Cash in Hand Arena is Two Door Cinema Club. So imagine how good this is going to sound.
I can't believe you got to choose the song.
See it.
I can't believe this entire lineup. You actually chose someone good and not really old. If you'd let me do it, God, we would have ended up with Summon. Let me tell you that.
You ended up listening to Bill Bailey's solo comedy set, which would have gone down an absolute shitstorm.
2 hours of it.
Screw that. Yeah, this is Two Door Cinema Club. This is What You Know. Good fun. See me at a socially distanced gig soon. That'd be nice. It
will be.
Jake, what else have you got floating about now we've played the music?
I thought we'd have a couple of lighter bits at the end.
Nice.
Sort of also in the news. On cable news with and now a squirrel that can water ski. So
this is the moment.
This is the comedy relief bit. I wanted to start off with Stormzy doing some painting.
Yes, I saw this. I saw this during the week.
So Stormzy,
What happened?
Stormzy, who continually proves himself to be the nicest man in the world. One of his friends or someone he knew, or some kind of connection, there's a painting and decorating company that in their off time, they go and basically deserving kids, they go and basically redecorate their room. Or paint the room anyway. They're called the nice guys, the good guys, I think it is.
The good guys. It's better than the bad guys, isn't it? Fucking hell, exactly. You've gone down the shit. You've gone down the shitter there if you name them that.
So Stormzy went along, and helped paint a room. BBC went along, so it was like a promo op for this lovely company. And he as he said, it's only half an hour of my day, and these guys are doing it all the time. And they painted a room. And then the kid came home and Stormzy went, mate, I've painted your room. It's spotless. Now I'm going to sign it. So you'll have to get someone else to paint it next time. Because, but no, it's just genuinely a very nice story. And I do like to think that Stormzy is doing a kind of DIY SOS thing. And Nick Knowles released an album a few years ago. So in someone's house somewhere, there is a kid coming home and they've gone, but my room's still an absolute state. And they're like, yeah, but who is it in the living room with an acoustic guitar? It's Nick Knowles. Sit down. He's gonna play you a 2-hour acoustic set.
Imagine if the kid had come back and it was just like, why have you painted my room grey? Couldn't you have at least done it a brighter colour?
From the video, it looks like it was already grey. It looks like it was grey and he fucked it somehow. It looked like the kid had it grey and fucked it up, which is what kids do, isn't it? And now he's a bit older, and he's like, I wish my room wasn't fucked up. Stormzy's there, like, all right, I'll sort you out.
Also,
but
you
I
can't be
literally-
ungrateful, can you? You can't be ungrateful. You can't be like, "Oh, hi, Stormzy. Great to meet you. Nice that you're here." Thing is, that colour is a load of shit, mate. Can you not? You couldn't really do that, could you?
I also love that we're in the period right now where Stormzy would be on his world tour. So that kid is the only person who's benefited from that tour being cancelled.
He's the only person who's seen...
Stormzy's meant to be playing to 60,000 people in Japan right now, but instead he came round to my flat and painted the wall.
This kid is the only person to see Stormzy perform live, technically, this year so far. I rate it. This good news has reminded me of some other wild news, which is the Osbourne. You know the Osbournes, the family,
Yes, of Ozzy Osbourne fame.
Off of Ozzy Osbourne fame. They are going to reunite for a new...
Don't tell me.
Wait, go on.
Have they gone off the rails on a crazy train, killing all of them?
All aboard? No. They've gone board another train, and that train is the paranormal TV show train.
Of course.
Of course. The show's going to be called The Osbournes Want to Believe.
Are they finally going to find out which kind of... Are we finally going to find out which kind of demon is possessing Ozzy Osbourne and keeping him alive?
Yeah. They're going to a TV show, The Osbournes Want to Believe, which so their son, actually Jack Osbourne, their son, he's going to try and convert Ozzy and Sharon that paranormal activity exists. So it's basically going to be Jack Osbourne trying to just persuade his parents that aliens exist.
Jack Osbourne was always the least charismatic in a family that wasn't exactly brimming with charisma in the Osbournes. I mean, let's be honest, the only thing that anyone can remember of that reality show is Ozzy Osbourne going, Sharon!
Yeah, it's true, yeah, that was the big one that lasted, yeah. No one really, that was it. That was the whole thing. I couldn't tell you
Also,
another moment.
He trying to convince them that ghosts exist or aliens exist? Or is it just like anything?
It's the paranormal.
So ghosts, right?
Yeah, I guess ghosts, isn't it? I mean, but aliens aren't normal either, I think.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, is he gonna go? I imagine each episode would be like ghosts, and then at the end they're like, we're not convinced.
Wait, I've got more information. It's so for everything from Bigfoot to UFOs to creepy dolls and poltergeists.
Yeah, so this is perfect. This is what I'm thinking. Is what's going to happen is it's going to be like a 10-part series, right? Episode 1 is like ghosts, and at the end of it, Ozzy Osbourne's like, "Look, I'm sorry, Jack, I don't believe in it." And he's like, "All right, got another one, right?" And then the next episode is like Bigfoot, and then at the end, Ozzy Osbourne's like,
"That's exactly what it's going to be."
Sorry, don't believe in it. And he's like, "All right, what about aliens? Creepy dolls, flying with shoes on, beds that wake up in the night and give you a massage." He just keeps coming up with stuff. Trains that go backwards when the men go forwards.
I'll tell you what this is going to do
romantic
to him.
Love.
Do you believe in a thing called love? Just listen.
I'm going to convince you, Ozzy, that I believe, and you could believe too, in life after love. And then he just plays that track.
The thing is, isn't all of this whole TV show, just going to make Ozzy Osbourne, a bit,
a bit,
paranoid?
Yes.
Maybe?
Oh, it could do.
Oh, God, it's going to go something like this. God, we really spiraled there. That was Black Sabbath for some reason. Paranoid.
Yeah. We definitely could have made a Black Sabbath joke as well, couldn't we? Ghosts. But it's good that we didn't, because
it's good
we
that we didn't.
Far
yeah.
Anyway. Let's bring ourselves gently back down to earth and start talking about some new music.
Yes, the core of what we do here at Dork, really. Well, aside from the nonsense you've just heard for the past half hour. Is music. And it's been a bumper week of new releases. People are kind of like really, I don't know, it feels like a lot of people are coming back right now with new
People
stuff.
are giving up.
People are giving up.
No, I just think people are trying to delay stuff and work out a strategy and this and that. And that happened at the beginning. And now it's a few months in. People have been like, oh, well, people are still listening to music. And obviously it's not ideal that I can't tour, but like, yeah, I've got to release the album. And I can't release every single album the second that we're allowed back to go to gigs. Which is good, because for a while, it was looking like there'd be no music ever again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would have done a shitter for this podcast, wouldn't it? Fucking hell.
It would have done, just as we started it as well.
There's no fucking
Down
music.
Oh, they've cancelled music. Oh, okay. So with that in mind, I've got a nice track for us off of an upcoming album with a tour announced to go with it that's happening next year. It's Declan McKenna's new song, Daniel, You're Still a Child.
Nice. I mean, confrontational.
Good thing neither of us are called Daniel.
Yeah, that'd have been weird.
I think it's actually he's changed the name. But I think Declan McKenna for a while was the youngest man in indie, wasn't he? And now
he
obviously that's Alfie Templeman, so it should actually be called Alfie. Alfie, you're still a child.
Because technically he is only 5 days old.
Exactly.
Bless Alfie Templeman. But yeah, it's good. You know, Declan McKenna seems like, I don't know, the second album, all the stuff you've heard so far is sounding really good and like a step up from the first album. I mean, he has that sort of fan base,
hasn't he? He really has broken out of that indie band kind of thing, and this album is what could propel him a bit more towards actual, like, you know,
pop
consistent chart placements and like, just that kind of vibe where it's like he's kind of bigger than the genre he's from, that kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is good.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And the album Zeros is out in August, so that'll be quite nice. A little summer treat for you. How lovely.
So yeah, this is Daniel, You're Still a Child by Declan McKenna, who is no longer a child. That sounded much creepier. I've just been thinking about that while the song's on, and it sounded much creepier than I wanted it to. I was just talking about the relentless march of time. I wasn't talking about anything else.
Fucking hell!
You got a song to drown out the strange vibes?
I do. Weirdly, and this is not by fate, it's following along the children theme. But this time it's from...
No, there was no children theme. Let's not make a children theme.
This next one is from someone we kind of like first talked about a few weeks ago, and on her first single, like the first thing that she like ever released that kind of caught our attention, Baby Queen is back with another new track. So we played Internet Religion here. Absolutely goes, absolute banger. And we immediately were like, yes, like she is like going to be the one, like she's going to just go big, she's going to go huge. It was really, really good. And now she's back with a new song called Buzzkill, which is probably like slightly I guess poppier, I guess, compared to the first track. The first track was very much an indie
poppier,
banger. Yeah. Whereas this one's a little bit more like, still follows that kind of like, I don't know, she's very easy just to point out like modern day life and kind of like point here and there at all those of stuff going on. And this song is incredible. Huge pop song. Like it just feels like she's on course to be massive. And not in the sense of like, you know, she's actually made massive, as in she's made into a giant that roams the streets and takes the children.
50-foot woman. Yeah.
No, not like that. But as in huge pop star doing big things. We think she's incredible. And I think after you listen to this, you'll agree. So this one is Buzzkill by Baby Queen.
Cheaters prosper and all of the quitters win. And he's your president because you voted for him. So when the party came to life, well, I imagined I was dead. And that's when I began to cry, and that's when all my friends said, oh boy, here comes the killjoy, chill the fuck out. You're so young, just shut up, you're bringing me down. And parties are supposed to be fun. I don't wanna be a buzzkill. To be a buzzkill. I don't wanna be a buzzkill.
Wonderful stuff, Baby Queen. On the way
Is that
to
like
the top.
S Club Juniors?
What? There's right. So what? Wait. As in like.
So she's like the S Club Juniors to Queen, which was S Club 7.
Yeah, all she's doing is just like refreshed versions of Somebody to Love. That's exactly what it is.
S Club Juniors were a weird one because I don't think they really did that. They did Puppy Love was the big one, wasn't it?
One Step Closer. Let's not forget. Come on now.
Yeah, but Puppy
roll
Love
that back into
really
your mouth.
made the mark, you know. And they
yeah.
Puppy Love.
Oh, that was lovely. That was really nice.
This is Oscar Lang with Apple Juice. No, sorry, I have another song. It's Oscar Lang with his new song Apple Juice, which is much better than Puppy Love by S Club Juniors.
Absolutely sterling introduction from Jake
much
here.
Better than Puppy Love by S Club Juniors. That song did numbers. That song was a banger, all right? If Oscar Lang gets to those kind of numbers, he'll be happy. So let's not besmirch S Club Juniors. But that is a better song than anything they ever put out.
I will give you that. Oscar Lang back, you know. His last EP went down very, very well. And this sounding very promising from him. He's a good lad, that. Good lad, you know. Keeps himself to himself, does well, you know. Hope he looks after himself. Happy days. More good music, please. Thank you. Cheers. Bye. I've got another one.
No, don't say bye. You've got some stuff. Don't.
Oh yeah. We've got way longer to go, haven't we? Gonna go to a former Dork cover band, and not in the sense that they cover like I don't know different variations of songs like Baby Queen and Queen would.
You know how every week we say, how did that go on for 2 hours?
This is how
I think it's just, you saying cover star and then managing to spin that out into another 25-second bit is probably what does it. And I don't mean Easy star Life. As in a large gaseous giant which lights up a whole solar system.
Fucking putting me on roast. Here he is. No, Easy Life. That's what we want. We want an easy life.
And I don't mean life, as in life insurance.
Easy Life I've returned with a brand new track, and it's called Pop Tarts. Easy Life were kind of like on course just before like lockdown and everything. Like they were about to play the Roundhouse in London, big show in Manchester, and then obviously they've been, obviously they haven't done those. It'd be a bit weird if they did. But they're back with like a new 2-track kind of like single. So the new 2-track single is called like Who Gives a Fuck, which, well, hello. And as a part of that, there's a brand new track called Pop Tarts. And it's kind of, it feels like it's them experimenting in the like straight out and out kind of like, I don't know, like alternative pop in a way that I think they've probably never done before with Easy Life. And it kind of like shows how wide and varied their influences and where they can go is. It's really nice actually. They're a good band. That they're going to be on course for another. When everything gets back to normal, big stuff. Should we listen to it then?
Definitely. We shall.
this is
Let's do it.
Yeah. This is Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts, shine brighter than pop art. Sweet enough for the most part, but keep it low-key. But just don't start, cause I'm involved and I'm on top. You're on the trigger, no safe lock. You're like pop, and I drop hot. And it's a car park, not a parking lot. But just meet me there and I'll pick you up. Few drinks and a pick me up. Ice blast from a sippy cup. Got an Oaks lead and a biggie bop. Let's turn it up. Pole dance on a candy cane. Turbulence from my jet plane. Let's duplicate, don't complicate, and we'll stay the same. I got space and time to walk you to the edge.
Easy life, wonderful life, good life.
I went through a phase of eating Pop-Tarts for breakfast, but then I was worried it would melt my teeth.
I don't think I've ever had a Pop-Tart. I don't know why. I think it's just...
They used to sell them in Tesco when I was a kid. They started selling them. And obviously I'd seen them on TV. So I was like, shit, they sell them in Tesco. Get me some Pop-Tarts. They're just fucking sugar. Literally, I'm not kidding you. Like, it's just like crystallized sugar. I don't know how anyone in America has any teeth. Like,
am I missing out on
eating
anything?
That shit?
Am I missing?
Yeah, I mean they're good, but they're a fucking dessert. They're not a breakfast. Like, literally, it's like sitting down and be like, "Oh, I have a bowl of cereal. What do you want? Oh, fucking ice cream, please." Like, Jesus.
Fucking hell. Don't have Pop-Tarts, but enjoy this Pop-Tart. It's Moorish. It doesn't damage your teeth. Easy life.
Exactly.
Good stuff. It takes us now to our album of the week. Our album
we should probably flag this. There should be some kind of warning here. This is a lot.
Yeah. We talked about high intensity, high energy, and we are diving straight into the world of 100 gecs. And
so if you listen to that Street song earlier and you thought this was a bit much, you might not want to listen to this next bit.
Taking the internet by storm, I think it's fair to say. 100 gecs. Good. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about 1,000 gecs and the Tree of Clues right after we play a song. We're going to be joined as well by Martyn, contributing editor here at Dork.
Yeah, so I mean, normally,
a real gecs fan.
Normally what happens is we'll play an album, we'll have the album, we'll be like, yeah, here's an album. We like it. So we'll get someone who knows about it to talk about it, is the thing, right? Occasionally there's been one that I've not been that big a fan of. I'm sure secretly Jamie's had a couple that he's not been that big a fan of. But I think this is a first.
I love everything.
This is a first in that me and Jamie have both listened to it, and we've gone, yeah, better get someone in on this because I don't know what the fuck is happening.
We need help.
I feel like I've spent the past few weeks watching TV and it's all been fine, and someone's just come in and changed the channel, and now I'm watching the same station, but it's all in Mandarin with no subtitles. And they're like, yeah, you still got to do the show, you still got to critique this. And I'm like, but I don't even know what's happening.
You know that feeling when you absolutely lose your mind? I think this is what this album is. And I'm not fully against that. I think let's all lose our minds
against
a bit.
It.
We will talk about.
But that's the circle of life.
We're gonna talk about it more after this. Where we're joined by Martyn, one from the Gecs fan club who knows all about 1,000 gecs and the Tree of Clues. But first, we're gonna play. To be fair, this is a banger. This is absolutely a banger.
This is a banger. We're gonna ease you in with definitely the biggest banger, I'd say.
So this is Ringtone Remix featuring Charlie XCX, Rico Nasty, and Kero Kero Bonito. Oh, BLT, anyone?
My boy's got his own ringtone. It's the only one I know. It's the only one I know. My boy's got his own ringtone. And when he calls me, I don't come home.
Throw away my phone. Hide it somewhere no one knows. Buried it in the ground so it can never be found. But I still hear it. I hear the sound of your ringtone. Head to climb, why can't I get you out of my mind? My boy's got... Wait, Charlie, can you sing the chorus again, please? My boy's got his own ringtone.
A slice of Charlie XCX, a slice of Rico Nasty, and a slice of Kero Kero Bonito, and a whole load of 100 gecs. That was Ringtone. It goes. But we're here now, and as the saying goes, let's talk about gecs. Let's talk about gecs, baby. Let's talk about gecs. We're joined by Martyn Young. Martyn, how are we doing?
Hi, Jamie. I'm good. I'm very good.
No,
Nice
I
to
don't
be
know why
here.
I let you do the intros, Jamie, because that was abysmal.
Well, I think it was
Every week I'm like, you can do it. I like that song that just played. It may shock you to learn. That's a good song. The rest of this
Jakes.
album, I'm not a fan of. I tried. There was one song with Tommy Cash that I quite enjoyed because it sounded a bit like it could have been the Venga Boys. For a bit, that was nice.
What's wrong with the Venga Boys?
No,
It's a very fair
I
question.
like that one. That one's good.
Exactly. I'll let you
Jesus,
clear that up.
The aggression.
At least
What the
clear
hell is
that
wrong
up.
with the Venga Boys?
I can't stand for anyone criticising the Venga Boys. It's one of my
That's
red
fair.
lines.
It's understandable, to be honest. In life, red line in life, we can't have this. We can't cross the line.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my principles and I have to stick to them.
Understandable. 100 gecs. Best bet. Who are 100 gecs, Martyn? Who are 100 gecs? What are they about? And how have we
100
ended
Gecs
up
are
here?
a duo, and it's Dylan Brady and it's Laura Les, and they came from the sort of DIY scene in like Boston in America, and they've just make this sort of insane noise, and they craft it into this wonderful sort of exhilarating pop concoction, basically. And there's loads of stuff that goes into it.
It's like a real. The best way to describe them for anyone who has not heard 100 gecs is a lot thrown into the mix, all mixed together, and turned up to about 500. Is probably the best way I feel like to describe them. They absolutely go for it. And on this, 1,000 gecs and the Tree of Clues. So this is a remix album of obviously 1,000 gecs that came out last year, and they've basically they've turned to a ridiculous cast of people to get involved. It feels like they've pulled together people who you would never expect, people you would never think of, and it all works in their world, doesn't it? It's a mad mix.
Yeah, I think the thing with Gecs is it is like entering into a world. It's like a portal to another sort of crazy dimension that's, and the music pummels your ears and it's high energy and there's lots of ideas that go into it. And I think the cast of people they've got for the remix album highlights how it crosses sort of boundaries and genres, and it's a lot of ideas that fit different sounds and different approaches, and they all just mash into one, like you said.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It is like going into another dimension, and the only difference from this dimension is you're getting hit in the head with a hammer over and over again.
Well,
but this is it.
But then from
That's
there,
the point.
I think it's whether or not you enjoy that, which I tried, I really did, but it wasn't for me. But there's definitely something in here. I just don't know where it is. It's not like I listened to this album and I thought, this is irredeemably terrible and no one would like it. If I'd never heard of them before, I would listen to this and I'd go, yeah, this is definitely for someone. I don't know who, but someone. Turns out it's Martyn.
We were talking like a few weeks ago about, and this is a big part, we were talking about the 1975 a few weeks ago, and we were talking about how there's stuff on like albums, and there's albums which some people will not get, will not like, and would probably want to step away from. This is like the extreme end of that. And I think what I love about it so much is it is so like individual. It's hard to pinpoint them next to anyone else. There are contemporaries. There is that. It is that PC music kind of feel and that kind of those ranges that goes on there. But there's no one like them, and that's what makes them really interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think at the heart of the songs here, there are like brilliant melodies, there's brilliant hooks. Some of it is obscured by insane noise, some of it is obscured by all these sort of weird effects, but at the heart of it, these are brilliant pop songs, and Gecs, they've got that pop sensibility, and it's where they can go from that. They can make that really palatable and make that really obvious, or they can obscure it, but it's always going to be there sort of lurking in the background.
And I think it's quite mad as well that they can, in a nice way, they can pull in, like, those people that kind of appear on that. Obviously, we just had the track with, obviously, like Charlie XCX on, for example. But, there's like a track with Fall Out Boy, which kind of turns into this sort of like, emo kind of like emo track, screamo, and then turn to some. There's one track, there's one track which I can't even pronounce. I could try. It's
right.
XXXI _ would stop X remix featuring Tommy Cash and Hannah Diamond. Which
I think you could just say that's. I would never stop.
I mean, we could say that. Is that what? Is that?
I would never stop you.
Is that
I was
right?
there going like, this is an obvious one, Jamie. Come on, and then I've got it wrong. So yeah, okay, fine. It's got Tommy Cash on it. It's actually quite good fun. That and the ringtone one are basically the only two that I had any kind of. We got on in a way that me and the other ones didn't. And I think for me the issue is that they can make tracks like that, which I think are really good fun and really good pop songs, and then other ones sound to me like they've let a toddler loose on one of their tracks with the DJ function of a keyboard, and I don't understand why you would do that. So yeah, I agree. There's probably a good pop song lurking in a lot of these, but there's too much music out there for me to bother digging for it personally.
But I think a good thing about Gecs is
go for it, Martyn.
Want music
You're the expert.
that people might say they hate, but people might say they love. It's good. It promotes strong feelings either way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a
I
very
like
good
music
point.
that everyone loves. I'm a happy man. You know
You're
me.
a happy man.
Happy-go-lucky music
happy man. Happy man over here. Jesus, suffering.
Hey, I'm a bundle of laughs.
I
was
think
going
the
to say,
injection of Gecs into your veins every day, is good.
Yeah, one shot of Gecs.
Keep the doctor away.
One shot of Gecs a day.
A Gecs a day.
That's all you need. That'll
I'm
do
not
it.
sure.
Serve it up. Oh, you're nervous now, but you got to try it. I think it is that feeling of the strong. Like it is an album which will make you. You will feel a certain way either way. It's not one of those albums that you'll listen to and just be like, oh yeah, that's that. And I think that's kind of needed. That's kind of needed in kind of like pop music and just music in general. If you're making an album that people react to, I think that's a really good thing. And people will love it. And people, like I say, people may be like, whoa, this is too much. But I think that's the reaction they're probably after is those sort of feelings. And being able to cross those genres is crackers. There's pop, screamo, rock. Who knows? It's all in there.
When I think it was Domino's did that pizza that was like a cheeseburger but in a pizza, right?
Yeah.
What you're saying is that was a good thing because some people loved it and some people hated it. And what I'm saying is, what's wrong with you? Why would you want a cheeseburger pizza? Like, what's wrong with the classics? I know I sound very much like old man yells at cloud here. I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I sound conservative and reductive. But I listened to this album, this remix album, and I did think to myself, like, I just don't get it. And I feel like that's what's actually annoying me about it, is this is like the TikTok of albums. When you listen to it and you just go, God, I must be old because I just do not understand this. These damn kids. Because when Death Grips were the 100 Gecs equivalent, right? That was basically, to me, that is the biggest comparison you can draw. Not necessarily musically, but
in terms of what they're doing, yeah.
Yeah, I was quite into that, which makes me think now that I'm like, God, I must be getting old because now I don't have the patience to get into this, whereas I did with that. And I got a lot out of it at the time, and I don't think if it happened now I would. So I think with Gecs, that's it for me. Like, they've got a lot of fans, and I just can't delve in.
See, I think the difference between sort of Death Grips and Gecs are Death Grips maybe a bit, they were intense and it was dark and it was deep, you really get into it. But Gecs is sort of, pulsing with joy. It's really sort of vibrant and exhilarating in a way that's just escapism for me. You just can float off into this weird world.
That's a really good way of putting it. It is, it is just bubbling with like personality and fun and, it's a lot in places, and it goes for it. But all it is that kind of thing which I guess you want all music to be. It is, you can click play, go in, and you can be completely away in a completely different space for all the time you listen to it.
Yeah.
I do agree with kind of what you said earlier about, those underlying kind of like pop songs, isn't it? Like those underlying pop songs, point to, these two being able to just create like some incredible music and kind of point the way, I guess, to what comes next. Like whether people will like it, or enjoy it, or will feel the complete opposite way. They are doing something different, which can't be a bad thing. Is my thinking
definitely.
anyway. Mm.
And
I think they
that's
also
it.
demand attention, don't they? Like, you can't put this album on in the background, which is, I think, a net positive. Like, if this album's
Yeah.
on, you're going to fucking know this album is on. And that kind of feeds into what you're saying, Martyn, about, like, you're going to have a reaction to it one way or the other, because you have to. It's so in your face that no one can listen to this and be like, yeah, I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, your neighbours might hate you, but that's fine.
Yeah. What have your neighbours given you? They don't do anything for you. So fuck them, as far as I'm concerned.
Definitely.
That's my opinion.
Definitely.
I guess as well, a good point with this as well is, like, all these people have got involved and remix. This is a remix album, which is, the idea of a remix album. Usually, it's like, oh, what the? No, I ain't doing that. That's a bit weird. But this, like, all these people have got involved because they're drawn to gecs. They're drawn to them, and that
Like a
shows
moth to the flame.
like a moth to the flame, like a band to a gec. It kind of shows their, they're, I don't want to say that importance, really. Like, people are drawn to them, which is really interesting, and it might, I think that this sort of album, I think, could influence like a bunch of stuff that kind of like comes off the back of it. I'm expecting to see the return of happy hardcore, and I, for one, am into it. Will Scooter return?
Too Unlimited is the one that I enjoy. Like, I Will Never Stop. That goes Too Unlimited style. I like that. That's some early 90s rave references. If anyone, what's that? Show my age there, but
you can still listen to that. You could have pretended you were 18 and you just really enjoyed the 90s rave, Martyn. It's radio. No one can tell how old we all are. How
1992
decrepit.
when I was 8. That was good times.
those were the times. I was about to say, they can't see how solemn I am.
I was going to ask on a sort of actual music note, which is a first for this podcast. But Martyn, you were big into gecs when this album came out in the unremixed form, right?
Yes.
How does this hold up compared to that? Is it better, worse, different? Like, as someone who's into both, do you think this has been like a worthwhile album to come out, this remixed version?
Well, the original album, 1,000 gecs, is only 23 minutes long. So if you are a bit overwhelmed by it, it's only 23 minutes. I mean, it'll blow your mind for 23 minutes, and then you can go for a lie down or something like that, or whatever you need to do to relax. And this one is 51 minutes, so that's double the amount of hitting your head over the head with a mallet, like you said. So it's double of that. So double the pleasure or double the pain, whatever way you're looking at it. But I think in terms of the album, it's some of the songs stick to the same structure. Some of them are like a little bit different, but it's at the heart of it is similar. So if you enjoyed 1,000 gecs album, you're going to love the remix album. But I think an important thing about the remix album is there's also 2 brand new gecs songs, newly minted, fresh gecs jams.
Oh, a little slice of extra.
This is what made me think about it, because obviously we played the track to start with, but we asked you before the show. We said, Martyn, what other tracks are good on it? And you immediately said, I think actually the new ones are definitely the most impressive stuff on there, which kind of sounds odd when it's billed as a remix album. But yeah, I mean, if they're going to put new tracks on it, that's what everyone's going to be talking about, more than the 3 remixes of Weird Things where someone's hit me over the head with a hammer again, even though I keep asking them to stop. And I think, as a non-gecs fan, those 2 new tracks are the most palatable, accessible ones on there, personally.
Yeah.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but they are the most obviously, okay, I understand this is a song. I see what you're doing here. I've got a frame of reference for this, where I don't with half of the other stuff.
Yeah, you're getting more bang for your gecs buck here with those 2 new songs. And
exactly.
Like you said, they are the most sort of overtly sort of pop constructed songs. It's similar in a way to Dylan Brady's done some stuff with Charlie XCX on our last album that she made, the one that she made during lockdown. I'm feeling now, and there's a song Claws that he helped write and produce, and it's sort of similar in that way. It's a sort of like dreamscape sort of alternative reality they've constructed there in that little song, and it's really nice.
Oh, It's wonderful stuff. And do you know what? Shall we plug in and listen to one of the new Gecs tracks? Martyn, what do you think we should play out of the two standouts? What should we
I
go
think
for?
we should play Toothless and just luxury and all its splendour.
That was Toothless by 100 gecs. Wonderful
It
stuff.
just sounds a bit like a headache to me.
Jake's having
You'll
a
get on board,
wonderful
Jake.
time.
You'll get on board.
Yeah,
You'll get
yeah.
on board with
That's
Gecs
what
train.
worries me, is that I will, and then like years later, someone, when I'm like chief fan on the Gecs message board, someone will dig this podcast up, and I'll be outed as a sham. I think that's the issue.
In 6
You
months'
know,
time,
everyone
you'll be right on there.
I'd like to
Yeah.
say as well, I mean, I sound kind of overly negative about it, which, I mean, personally, I don't get it, and that's what I've said. But as you say, I think it is at least something interesting and different, isn't it? I'd much rather we were talking about this than an album that we were all there going like, yeah, sounds like Oasis.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like they've listened to Britpop and not
Gecs
done anything
definitely
new
do
with
not
it.
sound like Oasis, so that can be said for fact.
We can confirm that. It's just exciting.
Imagine if it
you
did,
know,
though.
like
Gecs would blow Liam Gallagher's mind.
imagine Noel Gallagher with Gecs in a studio. He'd be like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. He'd come back home and be like, kids, I've just done something really mental over there. And everyone's like, all right, lads, calm down, mate. As he returns to his stately manner.
Like when Paul
Guitar
McCartney
in
did
hand.
that track with Jay-Z. Was it Jay-Z? And he did an interview about it, and he was like, yeah.
Kanye is Paul McCartney.
Oh, Kanye, that's right. Yeah, and he did an interview about it, and he was like, yeah, I just wanted something that my kids would be like impressed with. It's like, oh no, you're Paul McCartney, and you're there going like, yeah, I just still can't get the grandkids or the kids to care about me. I mean, I was only in the Beatles.
Yeah,
I've got this
that
image that
song
the
was
kids are like,
terrible though.
Oh, completely awful, irredeemably bad.
I've got the idea that the kids are like Paul McCartney's there, just like, Let It Be over here. Have you heard this one? And they're just like, just fucking shut up, 5 minutes.
He probably came home and he said, "Kids, I've just been in the studio with Kane West. We've made a banger."
Kenny West.
Yeah, big
I
Ken.
think Paul McCartney
And
needs to
that's-
get on board with Gecs, maybe then. That's what he needs
Oh,
to
he
do.
would.
I mean,
And
I
he'd
wouldn't be
ruin it.
surprised.
He'd touch it and it would turn to shit.
Gecs are the
I wouldn't
future
be
of pop,
surprised.
so
As we've said
It is.
before, Ringo Starr is the best surviving Beatle, and he should get on board with Gecs.
you've got a running appreciation of Ringo Starr on this show, don't you?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's very close, you know. Yeah, Ringo's doing all right. It was his birthday actually over the past week. So happy
Yeah,
birthday,
it was.
Ringo. Did you do the peace and love? Peace and love. Have you seen this?
Peace and love. Stop sending me fan mail. I'm warning you. With peace and
do
love.
not send them any fan mail. Do not.
Yeah, he does not like that. Yeah, one day we'll get him on the show. That's the end goal, really. Ringo, if you are
The best
listening,
thing-
which you're
best thing
definitely
about Ringo,
not.
though, is he has the voice of Thomas the Tank Engine, so that's what's the best thing about him.
Exactly. That's
Forget
yeah. I
Beatles.
mean, come on.
Beats everything else he's done. God.
Right. We're now talking about Ringo Starr and Thomas the Tank Engine, so I feel like we may have finished the segment on Gecs. To be honest, Martyn,
Natural way.
Maybe.
we've got to finish the show. So I'm afraid we're going to have to exile you to watch Thomas the Tank Engine on your own while we continue chewing along to victory. I think that
Yeah,
works.
I'm off to watch Thomas the Tank Engine while listening to the Venga Boys and listening to Gecs all at the same time for a truly mind-bending
Nice.
experience.
Don't make your head explode too much.
Perfect combination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mate. Right. Okay. Martin's
there
gone.
he goes. He's
We've had a
all
lot
aboard the Gecs train.
Happening there.
Cool.
I feel like I've just been on a long haul flight. You know, when you sort of get out the other end, you got sort of jet lag. You don't know what's happening. You don't feel tired, but you also feel weary somehow. Like you're not hungry. You feel like you should eat.
I hate to admit it. I think I'm aboard the Gecs train now. I think Martin sold it to me.
You like everything, so that's like the fact that it took you a while to get on board is a damning indictment of Gecs.
You know, it's good fun though. Good fun. 100 Gecs, 1,000 Gecs, and the Tree of Clues. Not the Tree of Glue. That'd be weird. 100 Tree of Clues.
Be. Jamie, how's your voice?
Yeah. Can you just wait 1 second? Hold on. Let me just have a little bit.
Yeah, can you give us a little warm up?
Let me have a little bit of drink. Yeah, hold on. Oh, hold on. I need another drink before I do this. Okay, I think my throat is sorely lubricated. Okay, it's time for tweets of the week.
Wow, really faded at the end there.
Yeah, I lost my voice. It crumbled. Tweets of the week. We look at the silly, the fun, the ridiculous tweets we want to talk about from the week.
Right.
What
I'm going to kick us off this week.
Yes.
With this may not be the best choice for the format because it's a video, but I'll explain the video.
we've had photos. We've had the worst. Yeah. We've gone through similar situations.
So Matt Maltese, who actually did a Dork Radio thing early on, where he only picked songs with people's names in, and then was confused as to why he kept having to play the ones with people's names in, despite him having picked that. I think basically, actually listening back to it, I sounded like I was bullying him, but I would like to assure you that we are firm friends. And by
he is a friend of the magazine. He's
a friend of the magazine, and we follow each other on Twitter. So I mean, he can't hate me that much.
He would have blocked you by now if not.
Has just tweeted a waving hand. And then at Miracle Grow, the fertilizer.
What is a miracle? Yeah, I was going to say, what is Miracle Grow? For people who don't know, what is Miracle?
The plant fertilizer. And then he's playing a song. I can't actually hear the song. It may well be his new song, but I've got it on mute for some reason. I was just about to say, I know he's playing a song, but I can't. I don't know which one because it's on mute. So we've done
if
well.
If we can cut it in the background, it'll be perfect.
I touch my head, no one came through except you.
Yep, good stuff. Well done, Jake.
Good stuff.
So he's playing it. He's wearing a sort of a ribbed turtleneck jumper for your pleasure.
For ease of access.
No, not for ease of access. It's a turtleneck. Jesus Christ. And then he's pouring some of the plant fertilizer into a cup. And then he puts the fertilizer down. And then he just takes a delicious sip of the fertilizer. And he looks at the camera. And that's it. That's it. And then he replied to his tweet with Miracle Grow. And he's just waving slightly at the camera while High plays.
You know when we're like, what's happening in lockdown? You know when we're like, okay, I wonder when people are going to go. I think young Matthew here may have gone. To be fair,
he had pretty much gone when homeschool was happening, and that was a while ago. But yeah, to clarify, the song in the background is his new song, High. I feel like, we should say that because otherwise he's drinking fertilizer for no reason. I'd also like to point out that he puts the fertilizer down and you don't actually see the cup goes out of shot. So I think he's not dead. I don't think he actually drinks the fertilizer. I think it's all a big prank.
It'd be really weird. It'd be it'd be horrible. Tweets of the week wouldn't really be as fun anymore, but...
no, I wouldn't have picked it for tweets of the week.
To be fair, I feel like I'm a hypocrite here because my whole thing is, you've got to try it, haven't you? I've just told a story about having Offal.
Not plant fertilizer.
I don't know though. Like, maybe I wouldn't rule it out. Is all I'm saying.
I would rule it out.
I think it would be quite like I don't know. I feel it would have the consistency of like a soy sauce or a Liam Perrins. You know, sprinkle it over a bit of like I don't know spaghetti, and you're away, aren't you?
Jamie, I can't hammer home enough the fact that you'd go to hospital and you shouldn't do it.
Okay. I might avoid for a bit, but you know, we'll see. We'll see.
You got any more tweets for us, Jamie? We'll keep you distracted. Stop you drinking any fertilizer.
I do actually. I've actually got these tweets of the week are across 3 different paths. So we've got James Bourne off of Busted fame, and also as a nice little note, Son of Dork fame. Hey, you know, hey,
just like the
friend
magazine,
of the magazine.
Eh?
Friend of the magazine. Yeah, James Bourne from Busted. He had a few questions this week on Twitter. And I just want to go through the process of that. So at 11:30, he tweeted, is anyone actually going on holiday this summer? Super curious. Now,
okay, all right.
That on its own is just a question, isn't it? You know? Fair enough. He's just curious. He followed that up 5 minutes later with, let me rephrase. So he's obviously...
Okay, thank you, please. Yes, James, rephrase.
Is anyone going on holiday or taking a trip to anywhere in the Caribbean?
Okay,
very niche request.
Before we go into that, I'm interested that you call it the Caribbean, not the Caribbean.
Isn't it the Caribbean?
I think, it's both, isn't it? There's an argument. In one of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, they have this argument, don't they?
The famous source of debate.
So you call it Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean. Well, you've got me there. You've got me there.
It's Caribbean.
I call it Caribbean. Oh. But then I've said Caribbean for a while now. Outside, it's only when I talk about the Pirates trilogy.
Is it coming up? When's it coming up outside of how often are you mentioning the Caribbean? I think either are fine. I was just interested. Anyway, more to the point. Why is this fucking man think rephrasing is completely changing the question? That's not what rephrasing means. Isn't it?
It's a different question. Is anyone going on holiday? Oh no, but is anyone going directly to the Caribbean? There we go. Oh,
what's he asking anyway? Is he saying like what?
I don't know. I think he's just asking, is anyone going? And
maybe he's got a very sensitive package that he doesn't trust the postal service with, and he's like, "Look, if you'll go to the Caribbean, I'll give you a tenner.
Anyway, you might as well.
You take this rucksack, but don't look inside it.
Don't look inside it. Is it? It's like Matt Willis in like a fucking long bag that they're trying to like just sneak over to fucking Jamaica.
Yeah, it's like one of those. Like, it's like it looks like it should have skis in it, but it's actually got members of Busted.
One by one sent, and then James is the last one, and he goes as well. But to round off the trilogy, like 2.5 hours later, he then put, "Looking at islands for sale is quite fun." So he's clearly seen the process and gone, I'd like to go there.
Right, I find this one the most depressing.
What if I buy the island? What if I buy the island?
Nah, because I find this quite depressing because, right, so he's famous to an extent, right? Busted were big.
Yeah, he's famous. He plays arenas now. Like,
exactly, right.
Big deal. Big deal.
He doesn't have enough money to buy an island, does he?
I don't know the going rate for islands, I'm afraid.
Neither do I, but I feel like James Bourne does not have enough money to buy an island. So like he's saying so for 2 hours after that second tweet, he's been browsing islands he can't afford. Like, mate, you're rich and famous. Like, don't you have anything better to do with your life? You're just like looking at islands.
He's just having fun, isn't he? He's just looking.
And also, why do we even live in a society where you can buy an island for a ludicrous amount of money?
That's quite mad, isn't it?
I mean, eat the rich, you know? James Bourne, eat the rich. For God's sake. You could be reading Das Kapital instead of looking at islands for sale.
Fuck it. Here we go. Jesus, we're talking about islands. Here we go. Talk about
Is there any chance we can sneak in the Red March at some point in here? Just put a bit of that in the background. No? Alright, fine.
That's not the Red March. That's
Sorry,
the
did you just
Bolero.
make up a song that you thought was the Red March?
No, that's the Bolero from fucking
Well, what
Torval and Dean.
Well, what the what? Oh my lord! On a different note, we were actually talking earlier. So we were talking about this the dork conversation, the dork chat
we actually
have
planned
now
these
that
shows, by the way. Yeah.
yeah, but the dork chat we have now that we're not allowed to see anyone in the flesh. You know, the virtual, the hangout on the World Wide Web. And we were talking about Busted, and it came up that something that I actually wasn't
And they've
aware
got
of
bangers.
because
They've got bangers. They've got bangers. Let's just flag this. Some of the amazing those songs.
I was a kid when Busted were big, like a proper kid. So I wasn't into the kind of, I wasn't buying.
Compared to what a giant
I wasn't
kid,
like a teenager.
an adult, as they're known.
I was like 7 or 8 years old, so I wasn't out there buying CD singles and listening to the B-sides. But luckily,
with a trilby on.
Our editor Stephen is 400 years old and remembers all of indie that has ever happened. And
it's got it right there.
He said that Busted's B-sides were always covers of pop bangers, basically.
But it's true.
And I looked it up, and they are, and like some of them are fucking bonkers. And we were gonna play a normal Busted song, and then we were looking.
We were gonna play Crash the Wedding.
And
we were gonna play Crash the Wedding because it's a tune. I'll give you that.
I thought we were gonna play Year 3000.
Oh yeah, we were mid-debate, weren't we? I mean, let's not do this in front of everyone. Let's have a chat afterwards. Jesus.
I'm just saying, you definitely suggested Year 3000.
I think I did actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you think you did. It was about 6 hours ago. Jesus Christ. Anyway. So, we listened to Where Is the Love by Busted, which features all of them doing their best American accents until one point where they all just slip into this bizarre kind of chimney sweep cockney.
Yeah, can I flag? Sorry, I don't think Jake has fully hammed this up yet. This is Busted's cover of the Black Eyed Peas' Where Is the Love? That is the thing that has happened in the world.
What's wrong with the world, Mama?
People living like they ain't got no mama.
No mama. No mama.
No.
Anyway.
Mama.
I tell you what. I think a song for both of us to think about is You Say It Best When You Say Nothing At All. And another song to think about is Busted, Where Is the Love? Which is going to happen right now.
Kids wanna and I wanna see in the cinema. Yo, whatever happened to the values of humanity? Whatever happened to the fantasy of equality? Instead of spreading love, we're spreading animosity. Lack of understanding leading lives away from unity. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling under. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling down. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling under. Gotta keep my feet for life till love is found. Ask yourself, come on, ask yourself, let me some shiver. I am your neighbor.
I'm glad that we were able to unearth that and play to the world. Because
I'm
I feel like
that's never come up in my life before.
Yeah. How have I missed that? Like, how did we miss this? Incredible stuff. Busted's version of Where Is the Love? You'll never listen to the original again.
And where's the truth,
Where's the
James?
love? Where's the truth? I don't know. I
don't know.
I don't know. I just don't know. Incredible stuff. James, good luck with your island purchasing. We'd love to come. That'd be quite nice.
We would. Yeah, please invite us over.
Yeah, please. That'd be really nice. It've come towards the end of the show, and the end of the show usually entails our little feature called now that's what I call a Hall of Fame feature. We've inducted many over the past few weeks, and this week we are going for Paramore. Big old band, big old tunes, anthems, and arguably one of the biggest bands of the past 15 years. We're going to delve into loads of that and more. But first, let's have a listen to this, which, I'll be honest, when I first heard it, made me stand up on my feet and smile. And I don't do that too much.
That's not a big
what we're talking
claim,
about, I
is
do
it?
that.
Let's be honest.
I do that. I do that a lot, to be honest. It's a really good song, though. Yeah, this is Paramore with Hard Times.
Where do I go? Give me some sort of sign. You hit me with lightning. Maybe I'll come alive. Hard times. Gonna make you wonder why you even try. Hard times. Gonna take you down and laugh when you cry. These lives. And I still don't know how I even survive. Hard times. Hard times. And I gotta hit rock bottom. Tell my friends.
Oh,
I
sorry,
love that song so much.
I was just finishing my beer. Just having such a lovely time to it. Yeah, it's a really good song. Paramore, Hard Times.
It's just so good. It's just like the perfect.
It's so good.
everything it sets out to be. That whole album
Yeah.
is good, but that track particularly, I just remember
yeah.
listening to it for the first time and being like, "What an absolutely like that is going to be a banger forever."
But I remember when that came out, like, you know, and this is obviously what we're going to talk through as well, is that when this came out, this was still when Paramore was seen as, you know, in the nicest way, this like emo alt band who had just put out, you know, they put out like their self-titled album just before this. That was a really like lengthy and like, you know, a really, really, really good album. When most people thought that it wasn't going to, you know, they might not even make another album again. But it was full of like songs in that, and they had like a few like very pop leading songs on there, but not much. But when they came back with this, they're like, right, Paramore are coming back, and then they dropped this. It was like, whoa, like this is a band now. Like it was them jumping up to like a whole new level and being like, we are like one of the biggest bands in the world. You realise this now. It was a real like moment where they crossed over. Like it was mad. They were already huge, but it was like they became like a mainstream like success.
The thing for me about it was, it just goes to show as well, because obviously they were they were so young when they first appeared, so young, and then they're obviously making that kind of pop punk music, and moving it, you know, emo and all, and that kind of general area.
Yeah, they were in that world, weren't they?
And then,
yeah.
I mean, Hayley Williams, by the point that this album came out, is an adult. I had, you know, I mean, it's so far divorced from when they were first together, and this album came out, and you still saw a lot of people saying, "Well, this isn't the Paramore that I know," and that is the thing, isn't it? It's that kind of constraint on it, where it's like, you know, I have a completely different taste in music to what I did 10 years ago. I still love some of the same stuff I did then, but I love so much more stuff now, and I think it must be tough trying to grow as a band when you're in the spotlight for that entire time that you are growing as a band. And I think a lot of bands in that position will have put out a track here and there, or even an album, that in hindsight they look at and go like, "Oh, that was a bit of a shitter. We fucked that," you know. And Paramore just didn't. Like, I mean, this album was so different to all the other ones that could come before, and there were hints of it there, but nothing that would prepare you for that. Then it just comes out and just do it, and you go, "No." I mean, this is just like perfect at what it does. And it's that's unfair. I think. Like, how can they be so good at that when they were so good at the other genre before? That's just not fair.
Before, I think you're really right about that point about growing up. You know, like growing up in front of everyone. Really, like they were like, when they first came out, like, you know, with their debut albums, and, you know, like All We Know Is Falling. It was just like, you know, they were like that in that kind of like, you know, that. You know, I guess a nice way to put it is that alternative, like, pop punk kind of like scene. Even though they weren't necessarily pop punk, they were in that kind of like world, and that's where they were, and that's where they lived, and they were that rock band. Do you know what I mean? They were a rock band.
Well, they rode that indie emo bit, I think, because there was the indie kind of came back and was big, and emo at the same sort of time, and there was a lot of crossover between the two, and I think they really rode that in a way that, like, I imagine a lot of the original emo fans, would consider them, they'd be quite snobby about them when they were first around, because there was that pop sensibility to them that wasn't there with a lot of the other emo bands. But then when emo became the subculture of choice for anyone who was likely to ever get bullied at a secondary school in England, bands like Paramore were top of the pile because they were just undeniably great.
At the front,
and obviously
Hayley, they were at the front.
Hayley, when she was first sort of getting signed and sorting it out, they said, "Oh, you know, we will position you as a pop star," and she pushed back against that and said, "Like, no, I want to be in an alternative band," which is why I think it is quite interesting, and it must have been it must have been quite hard for her to then, and the band, I guess, in general, for them to turn around and then on that album make some just completely unabashed pop songs. Like, to me, Hard Times is a pop song.
Yeah, well,
It's
it is.
great.
Yeah, no,
And there's nothing wrong with that at all, but it definitely is that. And I think it does just go to show that, like, pop isn't a dirty word and, like, is a genre that is worthy of exploring. And it's not... I can imagine some people that like them when they were that pop punky emo thing would have listened to this new song, the new album, ready to hate it. But I think it's just impossible to hate because it's so well done. And it's so obviously still what they want to do.
I think what's also really great about it is you know, with them, you talk about them like growing up as well, but I think their fans have grown, the fans of the band, that they've grown up with them as well. Like, they were the kids, like when, like, for example, like Riot, like, as an album, like, it, you know, for a lot of people, you'd be like, if that was your biggest, like, most successful album, it was like, yeah, do you know what? That's really good. That's a big innings. You've kind of like put out an album that also like defined a time for a lot of people. That album was like everywhere. You know, the cover with the, you know, the black and orange writing. It was everywhere, wasn't it? And, you know, all those songs were massive. And if that was like how big they were going to be, it was like, great, they've done it. Like, and they're in that world, they're going to be fine. But as like they've grown up, so like the fans have grown up as well. You know, those people who are listening to, you know, a Riot, for example, and even into like Brand New Eyes, that, you know, that album which I really, really like. I think that's maybe one of my favourites out of everything they've done. It's like they grew up through that, and now they're at the other side, and they're like, right, we've grown, and now, you know, now with After Laughter, it's like this is where we are now as people. You know, those amazing pop songs, but it's an incredibly personal album as well. Like, you know, and that's definitely been a big thing for the past few years. Is this like really real personal kind of like, I guess, journey that the band and Hayley have gone on as well. They're kind of be at the fore of that, but they wrote these like it's incredible songs, but it was always engaging, and they were always, you know, and fun. You know, ultimately they're fun. They're not afraid to go dark, but be fun.
I think it's not pretentious in any way, which I like. Is, as you say, Riot completely. I mean, there was, when I was that sort of age when emo was big. I mean, Paramore, My Chemical Romance, and Fall Out Boy were sort of the three biggest acts that people would consider like they're like, you know, life defining, like to go and see them kind of thing. And Riot was definitely one of those albums that did completely define a genre at that time. And from that, you could easily have just been like completely up yourself.
Yeah,
you're
you've
like
done
quite
it at that
young.
point, haven't you? You've
album
completed it
has
in a little
like
way.
hit it huge. Yeah, you completed it, so you might as well just do whatever the fuck you want. And I just love that whatever the fuck Paramore wanted to do was just keep making really good, fun albums. Like, there's not a hint of pretension on After Laughter at all.
Yeah. It's incredible.
And like that album as well, it was almost like a bonus album. Like, no one really expected them to be doing it. So I think it would have been less disappointing if it was bad. So for them to come out with such a great album, and honestly one of my favourites, even with not taking nostalgia into account, I listened to that album and I think, like, this is, I think, one of the most consistently good that they've put out. Which I don't think many bands can say that 10 years in or whatever it is, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think what's exciting about them is they can just, you know, they've got this rich history now, and they've got these fans who are with them because it's Paramore. They're not like, we're with them because they are, you know, an emo band, or we're with them because they're a pop band. They're with them because it's they. You know, if you can be a band who have fans who will follow you no matter what, and love to hear what you do next, you know, you've made it at that point. You know, that's why you are as big as you are. It's why you're headlining like Reading and Leeds, and you're doing those shows. Like, I just think they are probably one, like, they stand out as like a band who are just completely removed from everyone else. Like, there's no one close to them that you could be like, oh, they're like that band. Like, there's no one actually close to them. Like, you can't be like, oh, they're in a group of these bands. They're completely removed. They are their own thing.
I think it's what we were saying as well about what mentioned about Declan McKenna earlier. I was just calling him Dec then, as if I knew him, but Declan McKenna.
The boy Dec.
When we said, like, you know, it is looking like he could break out of that genre and just become one of those acts in his own right, which is obviously the dream of everyone, because it means you kind of transcend and you can play those arena shows and stuff like that. And Paramore definitely are one of those, aren't they? I mean, they don't have a genre. They just are who they are. Like, I think there's one of those bands. I think you can always tell when they're huge when there are people that aren't really that into music who are like, I absolutely love Paramore or whoever.
Yeah.
People that music is not a part of their life anymore, but they're still keeping up with the releases of this band because they love that band.
Yeah. You can tell that you've made it, haven't you? You know, when that happens, you're like, we've crossed over here. Like, you're a completely different realm. And what's interesting now is, like, you know, like you say, you know, After Laughter was amazing, but like they've now got this like this back catalogue which is just stacked. And like you say, it's still like, you know, because they started so young. You know, there's so like they could keep doing this forevermore. And I know, like, you know, band members have changed and moved about, but it feels like, you know, at the moment the trio that is like Hayley and Taylor and Zach is like, that's a core now, and it feels like that's who they are. Yeah, it's settled, but the ability to ride through that as well. It could have been so easy to have just been like, oh, do you know what, quit a day. And I think they've actually said in interviews, they're like, oh, maybe we're just like, oh no, maybe we can't do this anymore. Like, people are leaving, but they're glued together by just these songs, and it's just remarkable really what they could do. It's wonderful stuff. I mean, you've heard us talk for a while now. Should we play another Paramore song? That makes sense, doesn't it? Probably should. Yeah. Now, there's a lot to choose from. We could have gone, like, you know, back to the Riot days. We could have, you know, gone anywhere, but we instead just settled in the middle, really. So this is obviously off Brand New Eyes, which is a cracking album. This one rips. Yeah. This is Paramore with Ignorance.
I can fend for myself. Don't wanna hear your sad song. I don't wanna bring your pain. When it's all my fault, 'cause you know we're not the same. We're not the same. Oh, we're not the same. Yeah, we used to stick together. We wrote our names in blood. But I guess you can't accept that change is good. It's good. It's good. Why you treat me just like
Great band. I just want to go to a Paramore show now. This is what happens every week.
Sorry.
We talk about this. We actually can't. Yeah, you actually can't. Number one, they're not touring. Number two, you can't tour. So there you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of barriers in the way.
There's a lot of barriers. But what comes next for Paramore is exciting. Obviously, Hayley Williams has gone off and has done this solo project, which is probably going to last into next year, isn't it? It's going to she's going to obviously tour a lot and play like The Great Escape, but she can't obviously do that now. Because that's in the past, but also because it never happened.
Yeah.
But obviously, that I'm intrigued with that. That debut, that solo album, how that could potentially feed into what Paramore are doing. Because it was just really like, I don't know, it was just trying things out that you would never expect again.
I think it was a good one as well with that. With the Petals for Armour stuff, was that it was never. There's two types of solo albums, sort of thing, which I think we've spoken about before, but there's one where it's like, the band's over and I'm doing my solo thing, and they tend to be a lot more kind of ego and like, there's a reason no one wanted you to do this kind of thing.
I need to prove. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one that kind of runs alongside the band where someone just goes, you know what? I don't think this would fit with the band and I want to do it. So I think I'll just do it. Then obviously if you're a big enough artist, you'll get a record deal and be able to release it, but it almost feels that that's not the point. To a lesser extent, I think that's the case with Laurie from Slaves doing that Larry Pink the Human stuff. Like, it was never it's not like he's going, oh, I'm done with Slaves. It's just he's going, you know what, I don't want to make this kind of music, but I also don't think we should release an album that sounds like this because it'd be fucking weird. And I think with Petals for Armour, I mean, that's a great. It's just the stuff I've heard off that is absolutely incredible as well. It's very different, but it is
different.
Great.
Yeah, it's incredible stuff. What's interesting, I mean, I saw that Hayley Williams had said that, like, potentially for the next album that they were potentially going to go to that back to their like pop punk roots, and they might do.
Yeah, they've been listening to a load of the older stuff again.
Yeah. So we'll see. But all you know is that this is a band who I would love for them just to come back. Like I said, maybe not next year, the year after, but they come back and they just completely run through festivals, do those big slots. An amazing band. Like, with an amazing core. Good on Paramore. We salute you.
Good on Paramore. Good on you guys. You know what? After all those really successful albums and those arena tours and those festival headlining slots and that solo album, it's also really good. Jamie Muir says, good on you.
that I have never done or even come close to doing.
Good on you,
My-
lads.
my
Keep on
my su-
trucking.
My success this week was that I did my washing in time, to be honest.
In time. What does in time mean? That sounds quite ominous. Will you run out of pants? Gotta do it in time.
I just felt, no, I always set deadlines and I just ran past it.
You
and,
set
I was just like, oh.
deadlines.
Yeah,
You
well,
set deadlines for doing your washing. Jesus Christ.
Life is a highway, and we all just want to ride it all night long. Oh,
Right, I
with
think that's
that,
basically all we've got time for.
yeah, I think it is.
All we should
oh.
expose you to the world for. Anyway,
Oh,
so
God, what? That was
goodbye,
a week,
everyone.
wasn't it? I mean, like, that's a lot going on there, wasn't it? It was like, oh, God, there's
Sorry,
a lot,
I'm just trying to
lot
find the
happening.
off switch on Jamie, and then we'll be able to
No,
end the show.
no, don't go. I'm just going to sit here for the rest of the week. Oh, don't. Oh.
All right, well, goodbye, everyone. And remember, no matter how bad it is, at least you're not setting deadlines for your washing.
Hello.